Stop everything. What I'm about to reveal will absolutely shatter everything you thought you knew about one of wrestling's most beloved couples. The fairy tale romance that had fans believing in love again has just imploded in the most devastating way possible, and the secret that caused it all is so shocking, so completely unexpected, that even the wrestling world's most seasoned insiders are picking their jaws up off the floor right now. Ricochet and Samantha Irvin represented everything beautiful about finding love in the chaotic world of professional wrestling. They were the couple that made us believe that real connections could survive the brutal schedule, the constant travel, and the pressure cooker environment of sports entertainment. But behind the Instagram posts, behind the sweet social media exchanges, behind every loving glance captured by WWE cameras, there was something brewing that would tear their relationship apart at the seams. Here's what the mainstream wrestling media isn't telling you, what WWE desperately tried to keep under wraps, and what has fans around the globe absolutely losing their minds right now. The relationship that seemed unbreakable, that appeared to be built on a foundation of mutual respect, shared dreams, and genuine affection, was hiding fractures that nobody saw coming. And when those fractures finally broke through to the surface, the explosion was nuclear. Before we dive into the devastating details that have the wrestling community in absolute chaos, let me ask you this: have you ever watched a couple on WWE television and thought their chemistry seemed too perfect? Drop your answer in the comments below, because what we're about to uncover will make you question everything you've seen on your screen. Let's rewind and look at how this power couple came to be, because understanding their origin story makes the current situation even more heartbreaking. Ricochet, the high-flying phenomenon who redefined what's possible inside a wrestling ring, arrived in WWE with a reputation that preceded him. The man had torn down houses in PWG, New Japan, and Lucha Underground, performing gravity-defying maneuvers that made fans question the laws of physics. His in-ring ability was never in doubt, but it was his personality and genuine nature that captured hearts. Samantha Irvin burst onto the WWE scene as a ring announcer with a voice that could shake arenas and a presence that commanded attention. She wasn't just announcing matches, she was elevating them, adding emotion and gravitas to every introduction. Fans immediately recognized that she was special, that she had that intangible quality that separates good announcers from legendary ones. Her confidence, her style, and her undeniable charisma made her an instant favorite. When these two worlds collided, it seemed like destiny had orchestrated something magical. They were both performers at the peak of their powers, both navigating the complex landscape of WWE, both understanding the unique pressures that come with performing for millions of viewers every single week. Their connection appeared organic, their affection genuine, and their mutual support for each other's careers became the stuff of wrestling romance legend. Social media gave fans a window into their relationship that felt intimate and real. Whether it was Samantha supporting Ricochet at ringside, or Ricochet celebrating Samantha's announcing achievements, every post seemed to reinforce the narrative that they'd found something special in an industry known for destroying relationships. They became relationship goals for wrestling fans, proof that love could thrive even in the most demanding circumstances. But here's where things get complicated, and this is where you need to pay close attention because the details matter. The wrestling industry, despite all its theatrics and predetermined outcomes, operates in a very real ecosystem of egos, ambitions, politics, and personal relationships. Behind every storyline, behind every championship reign, behind every push or burial, there are real people making real decisions that impact real lives and real careers. Now, here's the question that's going to blow your mind. What if I told you that the secret that destroyed this relationship wasn't about infidelity, wasn't about money, and wasn't about any of the typical relationship issues that plague celebrity couples? What if the truth was something far more complex, something tied directly to the inner workings of WWE itself, something that involved career decisions, professional ambitions, and choices that had to be made in the shadows? Drop in the comments right now. Do you think wrestling couples can survive when both partners are ambitious and climbing the WWE ladder? Your answer might surprise you once you hear the full story. The cracks in Ricochet and Samantha's relationship didn't appear overnight. Like most relationship breakdowns, this was a slow burn, a gradual accumulation of tensions, misunderstandings, and conflicting priorities that eventually reached a breaking point. But what makes this situation particularly devastating is how well they hid those struggles from public view, maintaining the illusion of perfection even as their foundation crumbled. Sources close to the couple have indicated that the problems began when career opportunities started pulling them in different directions. Professional wrestling, especially at WWE's level, demands sacrifices that most people can't comprehend. The schedule alone is brutal: hundreds of days on the road, constant travel between cities, performing multiple times per week while nursing injuries and battling exhaustion. Adding relationship dynamics to that equation creates a pressure cooker environment where even the strongest bonds can fracture. For Ricochet, the challenge was about relevance and positioning within WWE's hierarchy. Despite his incredible talent and ability to deliver show-stealing performances, he often found himself in the middle of the card rather than in the main event scene he'd envisioned when signing with WWE. The frustration of watching less talented performers get opportunities he felt he deserved began taking its toll. The conversations about his career trajectory, about what moves to make and how to position himself for bigger opportunities, became a constant source of stress. Samantha, meanwhile, was navigating her own complex career journey. As a ring announcer, she was thriving, becoming one of the most popular voices in WWE. But with that success came its own set of challenges and decisions. Opportunities were presenting themselves, doors were opening, and she was faced with choices about her own future that didn't necessarily align with Ricochet's plans or timeline. Here's a question for the comments section: do you think one partner should sacrifice their career opportunities for the sake of the relationship? Keep that question in mind as we continue. The secret that ultimately destroyed their marriage wasn't a single dramatic revelation, it was a series of decisions and circumstances that created an unbridgeable gap between two people who genuinely loved each other. According to insider sources, the breaking point came when Samantha was presented with an opportunity that would significantly advance her career but would require commitments that conflicted with supporting Ricochet's own ambitions. WWE, as a corporate entity, operates on business logic. When talent shows promise and popularity, the company looks for ways to maximize that asset. Samantha's rising star power made her valuable not just as a ring announcer but as a potential face of various WWE initiatives. But accepting those opportunities meant time commitments, travel schedules, and professional focuses that would fundamentally alter the dynamics of her relationship with Ricochet. The conversations between them, according to those familiar with the situation, became increasingly tense and difficult. It wasn't about lack of love, it was about two driven individuals with legitimate career aspirations finding themselves at a crossroads where compromise seemed impossible. Ricochet needed support and partnership as he tried to elevate his position in WWE. Samantha needed freedom to pursue opportunities that could define her career legacy. The WWE locker room, always a hotbed of gossip and speculation, began picking up on the tension. Fellow wrestlers noticed changes in behavior, saw the strain that both Ricochet and Samantha were under, and whispers started circulating about trouble in paradise. But because both performers maintained professional facades, because they continued posting supportive messages on social media, and because they understood the value of controlling their narrative, the full extent of their problems remained hidden from public view. What compounded the situation was the inherent conflict between personal happiness and professional success in the wrestling business. Unlike traditional careers where you can separate work life from home life, wrestling consumes everything. Your relationship becomes part of your brand, your partner's success or struggles impact your own standing, and the line between performance and reality gets blurred beyond recognition. Quick question for engagement: have you ever had to choose between a career opportunity and a relationship? Let us know in the comments. The decision to end their marriage didn't come from a place of anger or betrayal in the traditional sense. Sources indicate it was more of a mutual recognition that their paths were diverging, that staying together would require sacrifices neither was willing to make, and that sometimes loving someone means letting them go to pursue their dreams. But that doesn't make the situation any less devastating for fans who invested emotionally in their relationship. When news of their separation began leaking through wrestling insider circles, the reaction was immediate and intense. Social media exploded with speculation, theories, and emotional responses from fans who felt personally invested in the couple's success. The wrestling community, known for its passionate and sometimes toxic responses to backstage drama, went into overdrive trying to piece together what happened. What makes this situation particularly complex is how it intersects with larger conversations about gender dynamics in professional wrestling, about career prioritization in relationships, and about the impossible standards we place on public figures to maintain perfect personal lives while pursuing demanding careers. Both Ricochet and Samantha are being judged and analyzed by millions of people who have no understanding of the real pressures they face. The impact on their professional lives has been immediate and significant. Ricochet, already dealing with frustrations about his position in WWE, now has the added emotional weight of a failed marriage playing out in public view. Every match, every promo, every appearance is now filtered through the lens of his personal struggles. The mental and emotional energy required to perform at a high level while dealing with relationship dissolution is something most people can't comprehend. For Samantha, the situation is equally challenging. She's trying to continue her role as WWE's premier ring announcer while dealing with the emotional fallout of her marriage ending and the inevitable public scrutiny that comes with being part of a high-profile split. The professionalism required to stand in that ring, announce matches with passion and energy, and maintain her on-screen presence despite everything happening behind the scenes speaks to her incredible strength and dedication. Here's another thought-provoking question: do you think WWE should give talent time off to deal with personal issues, or is that show must go on mentality necessary? Drop your thoughts below. The wrestling industry has a long and complicated history with relationship drama. From the infamous Lita Matt Hardy Edge love triangle to the multiple marriages and divorces that have played out both on-screen and behind the scenes, the business has always been a relationship graveyard. The combination of ego, opportunity, temptation, and pressure creates an environment where maintaining healthy partnerships requires almost superhuman effort. What separates Ricochet and Samantha's situation from typical wrestling relationship drama is the absence of villainy. There's no clear villain in this story, no obvious person to blame, no dramatic betrayal that fans can rally against. Instead, this is a tragedy of circumstances, of two good people whose lives and ambitions pulled them in different directions despite their genuine love for each other. The secret that destroyed their marriage, ultimately, wasn't a scandalous revelation or a shocking betrayal, it was the accumulated weight of impossible choices, career pressures, and the fundamental incompatibility between their professional ambitions and their personal relationship needs. It's a nuanced, complex situation that doesn't fit neatly into the narratives that wrestling fans typically consume. As news of the separation continues to spread, both Ricochet and Samantha face the challenge of rebuilding their public images as individuals rather than as part of a couple. The social media posts that once celebrated their relationship now serve as painful reminders of what was lost. The fan interactions that used to involve relationship questions now require careful navigation to avoid uncomfortable situations. For Ricochet specifically, this period represents a crucial juncture in his WWE career. With his contract situation always being a subject of speculation and his position on the card still uncertain, the personal turmoil adds another layer of complexity to his professional decision-making. Does he stay with WWE and try to rebuild both his career and personal life within the company? Does he seek opportunities elsewhere where he might find fresh start both professionally and personally? Samantha faces her own set of challenges and opportunities. Her rising stock in WWE means she has leverage and options, but she also has to navigate the complicated politics of a post-relationship professional environment where she'll inevitably cross paths with her ex-husband. The maturity and professionalism required to handle that situation while continuing to excel in her role cannot be overstated. What do you think happens to Ricochet's WWE career after this? Will it motivate him to reach new heights, or will the personal struggles impact his performance? Share your predictions in the comments. The broader wrestling community's reaction to this situation reveals a lot about fan culture and parasocial relationships in the social media age. Fans who never met Ricochet or Samantha personally are expressing genuine grief over the end of their relationship. People are taking sides, creating theories, and investing emotional energy into a situation they have no actual involvement in. It's a fascinating commentary on how modern celebrity culture blurs the lines between public and private life. WWE's response to the situation will be telling about how the company handles talent personal issues in the current era. Will they acknowledge the separation on television? Will they use it as storyline fodder? Or will they maintain the professional separation between on-screen content and real-life personal drama? The company's track record suggests they'll take a cautious approach, especially given the genuine emotional stakes involved. The parallels to other wrestling relationship dissolutions are inevitable but not entirely fair. Every relationship is unique, every situation has its own context, and comparing Ricochet and Samantha's split to other high-profile wrestling breakups diminishes the specific circumstances that led to their decision. The wrestling media's tendency to create narratives and find patterns sometimes overlooks the human elements that make each situation distinct. For fans who looked up to Ricochet and Samantha as relationship goals, this news is particularly crushing. In an industry known for relationship dysfunction, they represented hope that love could survive the chaos. Their apparent happiness and mutual support seemed to prove that wrestling couples could make it work despite all the obstacles. The revelation that even they couldn't maintain their relationship despite seemingly having everything going for them is a sobering reality check. The question of whether they can maintain a professional relationship moving forward is one that will be tested repeatedly. WWE's travel schedule means they'll likely see each other regularly, work the same events, and interact in professional contexts despite their personal separation. The maturity and professionalism required to navigate the dynamic successfully will be a testament to their character and commitment to their respective careers. One more engagement question: should wrestling companies keep couples apart professionally after they split, or should everyone be expected to maintain professionalism? Let us know what you think. The long-term impact of this separation on both careers remains to be seen. Will Ricochet use this as motivation to finally break through to that main event level he's been chasing? Will Samantha's star continue rising without the relationship narrative attached to her identity? Will both find ways to grow personally and professionally from this difficult experience? Time will tell, but the wrestling world will be watching closely. What's particularly heartbreaking about this situation is that it represents the cost of dreams pursued at the highest level. Both Ricochet and Samantha are incredibly talented individuals who deserve success and happiness. The fact that achieving their professional goals came at the cost of their personal relationship is a tragedy, but it's also a reality that many people face in demanding career fields. The secret that ended their marriage wasn't salacious or scandalous in the way that headline would suggest. It was the simple, painful truth that sometimes love isn't enough when faced with impossible choices between personal fulfillment and professional ambition. It's a mature, nuanced reality that doesn't fit neatly into wrestling's typical good versus evil narratives, but it's perhaps more relatable and human than any scripted storyline could ever be. As both Ricochet and Samantha move forward with their individual lives and careers, the wrestling community owes them respect, privacy, and understanding. These are real people dealing with real emotions and real consequences, not characters in a storyline designed for entertainment. The line between enjoying wrestling drama and respecting human dignity is one that fans and media need to navigate more carefully. The future for both performers remains bright despite this personal setback. Ricochet's in-ring ability guarantees he'll always have opportunities in professional wrestling, whether in WWE or elsewhere. Samantha's talent and presence ensures she'll continue thriving as one of wrestling's premier announcers. The question is whether they can find personal happiness alongside their professional success, and whether they can do so while maintaining the dignity and grace they've shown throughout this difficult period. Final question for maximum engagement: what advice would you give to Ricochet and Samantha as they move forward separately? Drop your supportive messages in the comments. This story serves as a reminder that behind every wrestler, every announcer, every performer we see on television, there's a complete human being dealing with real-life challenges. The glamour of WWE, the excitement of performing for millions, and the thrill of being part of sports entertainment don't shield anyone from the universal struggles of relationships, career decisions, and personal growth. As fans, the best thing we can do is support both Ricochet and Samantha as they navigate this challenging chapter, respect their privacy as they process their emotions away from cameras, and remember that sometimes the most dramatic real-life stories are the ones that don't have clear villains or simple explanations. This is life, messy and complicated and human, playing out in the spotlight of professional wrestling.